everyone's using ChatGPT, yet almost no one knows how to use it right, or what each of their 8 core features, models, and products actually do. So today, I'm going to do 3 things for you. I'm going to rank from worst to best the 8 core ChatGPT products, features, and models. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain in very simple terms what each of them do and how each of them work. And the third thing I'm going to do is explain how you can monetize and or make money with all 8 of them. So by the end of this video, you're going to know how to use every inch of ChatGPT, both for your regular life and in the context of making more money. And you're going to know which ones are the most valuable. Because imagine having a $1,000 iPhone and only using it for the calculator feature. You had no idea it could make calls or texts or surf the internet. That's kind of like what we're doing with ChatGPT until today. And believe it or not, my number 1 on this list, you've probably never heard of because it just came out. So yes, the newest ChatGPT product and feature is also the one that I think is the most valuable, and it's not ChatGPT Agent. All right, and then you'll notice that here I'm wearing a different shirt. I got a haircut. I filmed most of this video yesterday, and then hours later, ChatGPT 5 comes out. And I'm like, oh crap, I haven't even published that dang video. Is that video still relevant? Turns out, yes, it is. It's even more relevant because ChatGPT 5 is basically the motherlode of all those other 8 features. It combines them all into one. It picks and chooses the best model at the best time, but you can still pick and choose each individual model on an API basis. And so I spent hours with ChatGPT 5 testing its coding capabilities, its writing capabilities, its reasoning, helping me make stock trades, look at my health data, and I'm going to break it all down at the end. The game has changed, and OpenAI once again is showing the world, hey, you guys might be on our heels, but we're still in front. Respect the boss. So be looking out for that in my rankings. All right, starting with number 8. This is GPT 4.1 or Mini or Nano. This is the least valuable feature of ChatGPT in my opinion, and here's why. It's commoditized. It's the slimmest model, which means it was trained on one of the smallest data sets. It's really good for doing simple tasks or for writing simple blog articles, answering simple questions. It's a much upgraded version of Google, but it's only scratching the surface of what other ChatGPT models are capable of. That's why I rank this dead last. Now, what it is good for is building ChatGPT wrappers. And if you're not familiar with a wrapper is an app or a web app or a business or a website that's basically just ChatGPT with a different wrapper on it. For instance, if you were to make a cooking app where you can chat with an app and ask it questions about your recipes, it's just ChatGPT, but it's branded as your cooking app. So anytime I say wrapper, that's what I mean. 4.1 is really good for this because it's very cheap to use. And if you're building a ChatGPT wrapper, that's not very complicated. 4.1 is what you want to use. And it's kind of crazy that I'm ranking this dead last because it just goes to show how much competition 4.1 has with all of the other products and services that ChatGPT offer. I will say it is very fast. It answers your questions with lightning speed, but it's kind of a mile wide and an inch deep situation. But if we were going to monetize 4.1 in some way, I would go along the lines of bulk content services where you generate thousands of product descriptions for a couple $100. You could sell those product descriptions to e-commerce brands, or you could make digital products with it. You could build chatbots for small businesses that they implement in the corner of their website to help them save on customer service costs. These are examples of wrappers. You could generate hundreds or thousands of captions for social media posts with 4.1. And you could do that as a service for social media management agencies. You could do cold email or an email marketing agency where you write the emails with 4.1. You could write 10,000 individualized, personalized emails for about $100. But the problem with these business models is you will compete with a lot of people because there's just not a lot of skill involved. So let's head to number 7. That's going to be GPT 4.0. I call it the jack of all trades. The Swiss Army knife of AI. What I love about it, and again, I can't believe this is number 7 out of 8 because it is so good. 4.0 can talk, it can see, it can hear. This is the model that I use when my lawnmower stops turning and I basically FaceTime ChatGPT and show it the undercarriage of my lawnmower. And it's like, hey, there's a rock in there. Pull the rock out. It literally did that. That's a real story. Can you believe that's 7 of 8? But because of the fact that it's a jack of all trades, it's a master of none. It's not exceptional at any of those things. When you're having voice conversations with it, it's going to give you much shallower answers. Whereas when you're typing with it or doing voice to text with it, the same questions, the same model, it will give you much, much deeper answers. That's why I spent a few months doing a lot of voice chatting with 4.0, and now I just use the voice to text feature. So as far as ChatGPT is concerned, I'm actually typing out my question, because when I do that, I get much more thorough answers. And I assume the reason for this is because it doesn't want to just keep talking and talking and talking with a long drawn out answer. It would much rather blast out that text for me in the chat window. So if you're on the go, you're driving, you want to use it for quick, simple questions, it's basically a more multimedia version of 4.1, which we ranked at number 8. It can handle basically anything you throw at it. And just think of this in the context of business. Who makes more money, the heart surgeon or the pediatrician? The heart surgeon, he's more specialized. He has a more narrow skill, therefore he can charge a lot more money. That same principle applies here. You can make more money with the more specialized models. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of monetization opportunities here. Virtual assistant services at $15 to $30 an hour. You could give real estate virtual tours with this model. You could do customer service automation for $200 to $500 a month per client. You could even do medical consultation support, but you do have to be careful with the regulations with stuff like that. You don't really want to use 4.0 if you're building a wrapper because of the fact that it is more expensive, but the additional expense is not proportional to the additional quality that you get out of it. Okay, let's go to number 6, Sora. This is video generation. Sora is freaking magical. I did a video on VO3 from Gemini/Google. That's even more magical, honestly, but it's a lot more expensive. With Sora, you just type out some text and you get professional looking video clips. So any business in the world that uses video in their business in any capacity has a need for your services using Sora. You don't need editing equipment, production costs. It's like having a $100,000 video production team sitting right in your pocket. We're talking commercial quality footage that would have cost thousands of dollars to produce just 6 to 12 months ago. But the reason I have this ranked at number 6 of 8 is because the wow factor fades pretty fast. It's still kind of a gimmick. It's still kind of a party trick. It's incredibly powerful, but it's going to get commoditized much quicker than you think. We can already see it when we're swiping on social media. Immediately, the AI generated videos, even if they're of real people, just stand out to us. The audio isn't quite right. Something's just kind of off about it. But we're in a race against time before everyone has access to this technology. So right now, today, while it's still magical, you can still charge premium prices. You're still going to stand out. You just won't have as much of a lifespan on this. I see a lot of opportunity in real estate marketing videos, taking pictures of a real estate listing, uploading them to Sora and converting them to a video. Almost every property has professional pictures nowadays, but very few of them have professional videos. You can generate walkthroughs with Sora just from pictures. And you can automate this process as well. Quick question. What if there were a private community out there of people that were building businesses based on this podcast? Well, I just made it. And it's only for business starters and business builders. It's called TK Owners. And it's basically like having me and 100 other business geniuses as your business partner. Also, there's going to be exclusive new trends, growth hacks, business ideas, and a database of everything I've ever talked about. You'll find thousands of startup case studies. You'll have weekly Ask Me Anythings with me while I'll answer your questions directly. You can join now at tkowners.com, link in the show notes. Whatever business you start using Sora, I highly encourage you to charge as much as you can while you can, because I do think prices will continue going down in this industry. Okay, now for number 5, GPT 4.5. I call this my creative genius. This is the most creative version of ChatGPT. It's the best at big picture thinking, and it makes fewer mistakes on complex long-form projects. Think of it as your personal creative director and your strategic advisor all rolled into one. This is what you're going to use if you need like interesting or breakthrough ideas, not just execution. Or if you need someone else, an unbiased third party, to completely reimagine how something should work or look. But it is kind of middle of the pack in my ranking, because how do you charge someone for better big picture thinking? Results here can be subjective, which kind of makes it harder to defend your pricing. Now, if you're like a brand strategy consultant today, you're probably charging $10,000 to $50,000 per engagement. This is about 70 to 80% as good as that. So why not become a brand strategy consultant that charges 90 to 95% less? And you hop on a Zoom with someone, you ask them pre-planned questions that ChatGPT fed you in advance, and then you use ChatGPT to answer those questions, and you deliver what you found in a nice, well-formatted way. Ironically, I think a lot of these models are going to make people that can think on their feet a lot more valuable, because everyone will know they're not using or relying on ChatGPT to generate answers. By the way, if you're liking this video, please subscribe to my channel. It would really mean a lot. I do Ask Me Anythings every week where people just throw questions at me and I'm able to answer on my feet. And I'm hopeful that that becomes more valuable over time. All right, time for number 4, deep research. Deep research is like having your personal research team that never sleeps. Most of the other companies out there have a deep research feature. Perplexity and Claude, theirs are both great as well. And I always use them side by side. I never run just a deep research prompt within ChatGPT. I always run the same prompt across at least 3 different AI companies, so I can cross-reference between the 3. But very consistently, ChatGPT's responses are the best. Deep research combines web search, deep analysis, and professional report generation. If you've heard of McKinsey, they're one of the largest consulting firms in the world. It's kind of like that in your pocket, plus a Google researcher, plus working at superhuman speed. This is research that would normally take a team of analysts weeks to complete. Therefore, I'm not bullish on the McKinseys of the world. I rank this highly because it can literally replace $5,000 to $500,000 consulting engagements. Now, you still need humans. You still need people to deliver those results. Still helps to have a track record, but it is closing the gap between a guy with a computer and a guy with a Stanford MBA. And the magic of deep research happens when you really start to upload proprietary data, internal data that the internet doesn't know about. So if you were to sit down with a small business and ask how well their salespeople are doing at upsells, you could take all of that sales data, upload it to deep research, and it could compare and contrast against other companies within that same industry. That is data you could not get anywhere else. So yes, it's awesome for just prompting it without any context or any references or any uploads. It works amazingly for that. But if you really want to have it do magical things, you upload it proprietary data from you or from a business owner that you're working with. Here are some examples of some high value services and what they charge for stuff like this. Due diligence for mergers and acquisitions costs $50,000 to $500,000 per deal. Market research reports can cost between $2,500 and $250,000 per report. A competitive intelligence analysis can cost $10,000 to $100,000 per study. I'm not saying that deep research can do 100% of what these other things can do, as led by real humans. But the 80-20 rule is in full effect. 80% cheaper, 80% is good. What company wouldn't take a flyer on that bet? All right, number 3, O3 and O4 Mini. I call these my little problem solvers. O3 is a PhD level reasoning engine. It is best at complex coding, advanced mathematics, technical analysis, and solving problems that would stump most humans. Let's say you want ChatGPT to look at your Robinhood account and give you an options trading strategy. You'd use O3 for that. We hear the phrase reasoning model thrown around a lot, but what does that actually mean? A reasoning model is not just guessing words, it's solving a puzzle. Many of these AI models are just kind of like autocorrect on steroids. It's guessing what the next word is or should be based on millions of rows of data. But a reasoning model is almost thinking for itself in a way, in a strategic way. You know, when you ask your smart friend a question and he doesn't just blurt out an answer, he says, let me think about that for a sec. That's a reasoning model. It's like hiring the smartest person you've ever met, but only to solve technical challenges. O3 is what you're going to use when accuracy matters a lot more than speed. It will take a little longer to get the answer you're looking for. The reason I love this from a monetization angle is because complex problems equal complex budgets. Coding and technical work has a very clear and measurable return on investment that executives can understand. That's why coders make so much money. It's a lot harder to replicate good technical work. That creates a natural defensibility around your business. So the money-making opportunities can be substantial. You could charge thousands for code audit services, technical documentation, data science consulting, patent research and analysis, trading algorithms. This is the model you would use to build any of those things. You're looking for companies that have technical problems that are costing them millions. Time for number 2, ChatGPT Agent. It was really, really hard for me to rank number 1 and number 2. It was almost neck and neck, but I got to go with Agent. I did a video on Agent already. It's my most popular video ever, and it is a mind-boggling product. ChatGPT Agent takes everything that deep research is and combines it with automation, robotic automation. It actually goes out and does stuff for you on your behalf as you sleep. It can book flights, make orders, schedule meetings, handle transactions, reservations. This is the closest thing we have today to an actual AI employee. Not like just an AI that helps you work better, an AI that literally does the work instead of you doing the work. And I'm ranking this so highly because it is a direct labor replacement. You get clear and immediate return on investment because it's replacing human hours one-to-one. And what percentage of businesses even know that it exists? 2%? What percentage of those 2% are actually using it or integrating it into their workflows? Almost none. This thing came out 2-3 weeks ago. So where do we even begin when talking about monetization potential? If you integrate this with every employee at a company, and let's say they're planning to hire 100 people over the next 2 years, they might be able to shrink that 100 to 10 people. So I don't think this is the thing that's going to cause companies to lay off all their employees. I think it's the thing that's going to turn all of their employees into superhumans, which will help them crush their competition and not need to hire more actual humans. One interesting exercise that anyone listening or watching this can do is to simply have a notepad at their computer. And every time they perform a task that's not very complex, which are most of our tasks, they need to just write it down with a timestamp. And then at the end of the day, look how long your list is. Upload a picture of those tasks to ChatGPT and say, help me automate all of these. Help me outsource all of these. And you'd be shocked at how much you're going to be able to outsource. You could just start a travel booking agency where executives email you where they want to go and when they want to go. You connect that to ChatGPT Agent and it automatically books their flight for them. And instead of you booking the flights one by one, you're just playing air traffic control and watching all these things happen and fixing things as they inevitably break. And the more you fix them, the more you can tweak the automations and the less they'll break. How about retail arbitrage? That's a whole industry. Buying a Lego set on Amazon.com because on Walmart.com it sells for 50% more. You can automate all of that. I consulted with a brand just last month that sells 3,000 different products, and they are always cross-referencing their major competitors. ChatGPT Agent does that for them now. It will literally make a Google Sheet for them as they're sleeping and put down the price of all the 40-ounce tumblers that all their competitors are selling, so they know where to price theirs competitively. You could offer that same implementation as a service for companies just like those. For any company that sells any product or service that might ever want to keep tabs on their competitors or their vendors or their customers or anyone, you could implement that for a fee and then for an ongoing fee as well. ChatGPT Agent moves us from AI as an advisor to AI as an employee. So maybe then we can finally stop using ChatGPT like another Google. If companies pay $100,000 a year for an employee, why wouldn't they pay you $20,000 a year to replace that employee? But here's the reason why this is number 2 and not number 1. There's still some technical uncertainty. It still breaks a lot. It's still young. And implementation can be all over the map depending on what kind of system you're using. PC or Apple, Salesforce, NetSuite, Shopify. There's a lot of moving parts. And speaking of number 1, here's number 1. So video is cool, but you know what's better? Long form audio via podcast and my newsletter, tkopod.com. Go there to subscribe for free to my newsletter. It's 1 email a week, very tactical. And then go to my audio podcast, 3 episodes a week, stuff like this. You're going to love it. All free, no sleazy sales pitch, tkopod.com. Here's number 1, GPT OSS, which just came out yesterday. OSS stands for Open Source Software. Everyone knew that ChatGPT would come out with this. It took longer than I thought it would, but this is a game changer. What this means is that you can now run ChatGPT locally on your computer and soon on your phone to where no third party, no other company can see what's going on in that model with that AI. For instance, my mom is a lifelong journaler. I love her. She has hundreds of journals, tens of thousands of pages of journals, 50-something years worth of journals. I could digitize and upload all those journals into ChatGPT that lives locally on her computer that no one else has access to, and she can ask it questions. What was the worst day of my life? What was the best day of my life? What are some fun memories of my favorite child, Chris? She doesn't want to do that today because it's on the internet, but no longer. And so here's why this is number 1 for me by a freaking landslide. Here's what makes GPT OSS the king of money-making AI features: implementation. Every company knows that AI is here to stay. It's not a fad. We talked about crypto being a fad, cloud kitchens being a fad. There's so many fads that have come and gone. No one thinks AI is a fad because it's not. Every company knows they need it on some level, but they don't know how to implement it. If they do know how to implement it, they're probably not implementing it because of these data privacy concerns that are now gone. ChatGPT has the name brand. They're the gold standard. They're the Apple of all of the AI companies. We know them and we largely trust them, but it's only 3 years old. And there have been data leaks. ChatGPT is far from perfect. Don't get me started on the nonprofit stuff and Sam Altman shadiness and all that. We won't go there. So companies are stuck between a rock and a hard place. I want a GPT of our own data, but I don't trust ChatGPT. And if I can't trust ChatGPT, who can I trust? Now you can trust ChatGPT without actually having to trust ChatGPT because you don't have to give them your data. You can use their technology, but keep your data on your own servers locally. But they have no idea how to implement this. And here's a newsflash. It's not that complicated. It's not that hard. If you want to learn how to do it, you can ask ChatGPT itself how to do it. Do it for your own data. Do it for your emails. Practice on yourself. Why am I still whispering? Then you can start doing it for others. You can charge a fat upfront fee, thousands or tens of thousands of dollars, depending on how complex it is. Maybe you charge per gigabyte, per terabyte, and then you charge hundreds or thousands of dollars a month to update it, to add more data, to fix it, to be a help desk for the company. As of today, I think this is the biggest money-making opportunity in AI. That's why you're still watching. This is complete data control that never leaves your building. All you got to do is walk into a Fortune 500 company and say, hey, I can implement a company GPT for you and it will never leave your servers. And what are they going to say? Take my money. Where do I sign? You could start in healthcare or finance because those are the industries that need this thing the most. We're talking about millions to tens of $millions worth of contracts signed with people like you and I, just regular old Joes, to implement these models for companies. Do you know how much companies are charging today to train custom AI models for other companies? Between $250,000 and $2 million plus per project. Look at any metric or Google Trends chart for data privacy consulting, and it is up and to the right forever and always. And you'll be even more successful if you could partner with a guy that has networking or hardware experience. This is basically the AI equivalent to the gold rush or the oil rush. And once you're embedded with these companies, they're going to go for you for everything AI because the switching costs for them are very, very high. 6 months down the road, if someone new comes to them and says, hey, I can help you train new AI models for 20 to 40% of what you paid last time. You think they're going to switch? Absolutely not. They're way too reliant on these models by that point. And that sounds like a nightmare to them. All right. And now for the updated ranking, my true number one ranking coming in at 0.5, not second, not first, but 0.5 is ChatGPT 5. I've been playing around with it all day. It just came out like 3 hours ago and holy crap. So ChatGPT kind of removes the need for you to think about which model should I use, when and where. It's just going to pick the best one. It's still using all of the other 8 models and features, but it's working in the background more. It's removing the friction, which any good business does. Coding on this thing is outrageous. You can code games with one prompt. I hate to say this, but it's better than Replit. It's better than Bolt. It's better than Lovable and all those. And a lot of times when you get a model that's really good at coding and solving complex challenges, it's not as good at writing because writing is a more creative skill. False. ChatGPT 5 crushes writing. What I love about ChatGPT 5 is that it doesn't hallucinate as much. The context window is 1,000,000 tokens, which is 5 times more than Claude Opus 4.1, which means you can upload entire books and ask it questions. That was not possible before. Yes, it's possible in Gemini, but I'm going to say it. I don't like Gemini. It's kind of dumb. I'm sorry. I'm just not happy with it. Furthermore, ChatGPT 5 is not just a yes man. It's not like, oh, yes, I'm nice. I agree with you. Just keep using me no matter what. No, it's going to be more frank, more upfront, more honest with you. It works a lot faster. It's still doing a lot of complex tasks in the background, but it starts answering you while it keeps thinking about how it's going to finish the answer. I've never seen anything like it. So how would I use ChatGPT 5 to make money? Where do I even begin? I'm going to make another video where I take a few different prompts and I'm going to test it against ChatGPT 5, Grok 4, Claude Opus 4.1, and Gemini Pro 2.5. Prompts like, I have $200, a MacBook, an internet connection, and a car. Give me the best business plan possible to make $10,000 in a week. I'm going to take prompts like that and stress test it against all 4 models and see which one really gives me the most thorough answer. And then who knows? I might go out and start one of these things and see how well it actually does. So basically everything I've said about monetizing, starting businesses, making money, about all these other 8 features, put all those on steroids and you've got ChatGPT 5. So honestly, I don't know why you're still watching me. Please subscribe to me, share it with a friend, go do something about this video, and I'll see you next time on the Kerner Office.